end of some things Reg was saying. So very excited to have you here. It is Monday, June 12th, and we're going to be learning all about what happens for men in tonight's call. So Lara, please take it away for us.
So I wanted to do a call about men because there has been some fantastic results that we've been hearing who've been on LuminAloe. And I actually wanted to start with Jim, if he'd speak on to what he's been experiencing on LuminAloe so far.
With Jim.
He's coming in and out. There he is. Oh,
We can't hear you, Jim.
We lost Jim.
oh, there he is.
Try it now.
So do I not need to hit tap to speak? I'm doing it on my phone, so I don't.
You're
usually
doing great.
Now you're
Okay.
fine. Just don't tap anything else.
Okay.
Jim, what's been going on for you?
Well, all kinds of crazy things. So it's been good that I don't know what you call it. Like I said, a lesion on my arm that's been there for ages. That's been slowly dissolving. It's continuing to dissolve. It did level off for a bit, so I'm guessing the LuminAloe went somewhere else in my body, and then it seems to have been attacking it good in the last few weeks. It's I don't want to say almost gone, but it's almost gone.
I can attest to that. I burnt myself again on the barbecue and it's healed right up. So
Well, another interesting thing happened since that Mr. Dimwit here went off to one of our meetings out in the open air country, and we were playing with crossbows, and I hadn't played with one before, and well, I got bit in the eye by the scope, not paying attention. So I put a gash up in my eye, and in 6 days, and it bled pretty bad, but we kind of healed it up, and it didn't, and that didn't take very long, which really caught me off guard. Anyways, we kind of wiped it up, and it healed up, and 6 days later, the complete scab, the gash, everything gone. The black eye gone. 6 days.
Wow.
You wouldn't even know I got hit.
That's
That's
awesome.
And everybody looked at me the next day. It was like, oh, what hit you? And I was amazed at how fast it dried up and disappeared, literally in days. So I don't think that would have happened otherwise. I do have, again, like I have the toenail issue that most men have, as I stated before, and it leveled off a bit, but it still doesn't look anywhere near as bad as it did before I started LuminAloe. So I guess it's taken its time, but it is, the fungus seems to be dissolving little by little. So all these skin things are pretty interesting that's going on with me, and of course, the well-documented case of my hair growing back on my head. I've actually had to trim it a bit. So yeah, am I growing a full head of hair yet? No. Do I think I'm going to grow a full head? I've never really had a full head, but just the shock of seeing what's growing back is pretty interesting. And my hair is fuller. The hair that's on the back, it's got some body in it now. It used to be so limp and just unstrong, for lack of a better term.
Mhm.
A lot of strength in my hair now. So, and my nails, actually. My nails, typical male, I'd let them grow for a bit, and then, don't have time, or I'd be playing with one, and then I just, casually kind of break it, tear it off. I can't do that now. The nails are too strong.
You're going to have to actually use nail cutters.
Yes. So subtle differences. I do feel I did have prostate surgery 6 years ago. Nothing cancerous, and I got blocked up, and so they took care of that. And while things were working fine, I will say they are working better. It's more consistent pressure. So something's going on down there, and my bladder got stretched really bad. I actually, when they drained me, I lost 15 pounds. I was pretty full. So, of course, they said to me my bladder was stretched. They weren't sure if it would ever come back, but I honestly feel like it's slowly shrinking. and that would account for the better pressure, consistent pressure. So I will give it time, but yeah, there's lots of definitely things going on here for sure.
Awesome. Well, we love seeing your updates from all your hair growth
Yeah.
every time that we see you. It's always amazing, and the fact that things are advancing is just super cool. So thanks so much for sharing your stories.
I know we're talking about the men thing, but just on a side note, because my wife has been kind of playing with it a bit. The first month, though, I guess she was hesitant, so she was only doing like once a day, and so I kind of gave her some heck, and I said, well, how do you expect it to work if you're not doing the minimum? So anyways, she started taking it, and she's got far more health issues than me, but the short version is a month ago she went into the doctor and she had a list of issues, and she went in last week, and the doctor said, well, she was the best patient that they'd seen all week, and I guess she told me her platelets were low the previous meeting and they're normal now.
Awesome.
She was reaching I guess they call it pre-diabetes or whatever. She was in the 6 range. She was 5.5 a month later, and she had some skin issues that I don't know whether you call it thin skin or whatever, but I mean, you would literally, if you scratched her arm and not real hard, just scratching a bug itch or something, the white lines you would normally get and then they fade away on your skin, that would turn to blood. Like she would scratch herself literally, and it's not doing that now, all in a month. So
Very
fascinating.
exciting.
Very, very fascinating to see that happening with her. And so we're both plugging away here and curious to see where it's going to take us. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, and we're excited to hear your updates as they come, for sure.
Yeah, we're excited, like I say, and with seeing what happened with her, because I think she's far more serious stuff than me. But I'm not unhealthy, but I'm not the healthiest guy either. So I'm just taking it as it comes, and it's all good so far.
Excellent. Well, we're excited to see where your journey goes on LuminAloe. That's for sure. So some of the things that Jim mentioned all are related to hormones. And so one of the biggest things that we're really noticing is how important it is to balance hormones, both for men and for women. And hormones play such a huge role in the male body for producing energy. It also affects mood, sex drive, muscle mass. And if your hormone levels are off, you experience fatigue, anxiety, and depression. And testosterone, growth hormone, and cortisol levels all have a profound impact on men's health. There was actually a news, I guess, episode or news program on CBC in Canada, and there was a study, or I guess observations out of Ontario. And the observations were that, so Canada doesn't have any regulation for medications in water. So when they test the water in Canada, there's no regulation to know if there's medications, hormones, all that kind of stuff in the water. So we don't have any regulatory body or regulatory system to govern that or monitor that. And there was a study done in Ontario that showed high levels of cancer medication as well as hormone medication in the waters. And then there was actually an area in South Ontario that actually there 1 in every 8 children that were born were male. So there are actually lesser and lesser males being born based on some hormones, or so there's a lot less strong Y chromosomes that are going on, and a lot less male hormones. So a lot of a lot less dominant testosterone and a lot of male hormone imbalance. And so the fantastic thing is LuminAloe has all the things that a man would need to regulate their hormones. And so one of the things that I'll bring Reg in for a second, because he has some great studies that are pertinent to the aloe. but some of the other ingredients, I was doing a little bit of research, and this is what I found. So two of the ingredients that really struck out from a men's health perspective was the tamarind in LuminAloe. And this was really interesting, so I wanted to read this to you. So tamarind offers an impressive benefit for sexual health in both men and women. So tamarind contains vitamin C, antioxidants, magnesium, B3, iron, niacin, folates, and zinc, and are all important for good sexual health. So vitamin C, which we have in the ascorbic acid and in the tamarind, helps promote sexual desire, so increase libido. And I know from some of the stories that we've had, there's been an increase in libido in some of the females that have been taking LuminAloe. So that's something exciting from a hormone balancing perspective of things. And as well too, it's an important element of producing sexual hormones, including estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone, which help boost libido, fertility, and overall sexual health in both men and women. Antioxidants are integral for healthy sperm as well, boosts sperm development, and helps increase the amount of sperm in the male body. So we know that there's a huge infertility journey going on both with men and women around the world. And so this is interesting that also helps, gives the body what it needs to help work on balancing those hormones for men. And magnesium, which we have in the Lytra, as well as in the tamarind, and vitamin B6 also provide sexual benefits. So B6 helps regulate sexual hormones in both men and women, while magnesium helps to improve testosterone levels in men. So main benefits for tamarind for men's sexual health is improved semen and volume, quality and volume. Both vitamin C, zinc, antioxidants, and folates all support that. And studies have shown that vitamin C bursts sperm count and prolongs sperm life. And zinc helps improve the sperm quality within conception, and antioxidants help reduce the oxidative stress. So all that free radical damage in our body. So that's exciting. Lack of sexual stamina is compliant with many men who suffer from that can suffer from, especially as they age. Tamarind offers a viable solution for that problem. Research, so a study was conducted that 75 males showed that tamarind increased how long they're able to stay in, pretty much. And that after they started with vaginal penetration, so they can last longer. So that's exciting for boosting stamina. And men who were given tamarind seed powder showed significant improvements over those who were given a placebo. Also, other benefits for men include weight loss, as well as increasing blood flow through the bodies and the genitals, and testosterone levels. One study, a study was done on mice who showed that tamarind seed extract improves testosterone production, as well as provides benefits for endocrine function and improves circulation. So just one serving of tamarind offers 10% of the daily value. Tamarind also promotes red blood cells and improves circulation, helps with lower cholesterol levels, and decreases stress and anxiety. So I thought that was like really, really interesting. And then curcumin is a natural anti-inflammatory compound. So that's another really fascinating ingredient in the LuminAloe. And so inflammation is pretty much, as we know, all the free radical damage in our body. So with curcumin, it can help repair that damage, that free radical damage. And some of the main ones for curcumin for men have been heart disease, cancer, metabolic syndrome, Alzheimer's, and different degenerative conditions. And for the sexual health of men, turmeric is also fantastic. So once again, too, because it helps with inflammation, it's all about circulation and blood flow. So blood vessels. So there's a lot of studies that are tied with turmeric and erectile dysfunction, which is really, really interesting. But a lot as it also relates to diabetes and cancer. So anything related to the blood flow, testosterone levels, prostate health, heart health, diabetes. So all of the above. So I just thought it was really, really fascinating as you sort of dive into this world of, oh my gosh, like what else, what are all these ingredients doing, and the benefits of it all, and hearing some of the stories that we have. And when we think of free radical damage and inflammation and all that kind of stuff, like from the Lytra, which a lot of stuff from men's sexual health and hormone balancing was magnesium and zinc and vitamin C, which is really interesting. So all these ingredients have components of that on top of the Lytra that we have in LuminAloe, on top of the ascorbic acid.
So I have to ask this then with what you're saying, because just a little previous to me going on LuminAloe, I had started with one of the, we'll say the freedom doctors in this area. Anyways, he prescribed me to magnesium. I was already taking zinc and quercetin. And so I'm wondering at what point, so I'm buying all these supplements, and then so this is, I guess, a question for Reg. Should I keep taking that stuff, or when, how do I know when maybe I shouldn't and just be taking the LuminAloe?
Well, the doctor did some tests in order to recommend that, right?
Well, he went on a hunch on the magnesium, but I kind of agreed with his hunch with what we were talking. At that point, they weren't up and running for blood tests, but they have since. I imagine he's got the results since. He never said not to go off it. So
yeah. Well, first things first is always do what your doctor says. Okay. And then if you feel like what he's, there's some doctors, there's one in Florida I know of particular, that had a woman who had a thyroid issue for 20 years. It's named, has a Japanese name to kind of give you a hint of this deviation from normal. And it turned out that after taking LuminAloe, her doctor told her she no longer had that deviation from normal after taking the medication necessary for 20 years. And 20 years was like the record for any deviation from normal for LuminAloe at the time. And the doctor said, quote, even though you don't have this anymore, I want you to stay on the medication just in case. And she didn't like that. So she went and found another doctor, another MD. And he said, yeah, I'll work with you on taking your dosage down on these medications, because you can't just quit cold turkey on this particular deviation from normal. So working with her doctor, she's been getting off of that medication gradually, but I emphasize working with her doctor. And unfortunately, there have been other people who have decided to be their own self-doctor and just quit cold turkey and have been in a world of hurt for doing that. So never play doctor on yourself.
We've been doing that with my blood pressure medicine. We've weaned it back a bit, but now I went back on one pill. We doubled it back up.
Okay.
It was kind of going goofy a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're going to see where it levels out.
One of the best examples is like with blood sugar control with your A1C, that deviation from normal we're all familiar with, type 1 and 2. When you're doing your blood tests, when they prick your finger, gives you a number, or my wife has the one that's on her arm and she scans it with her phone and it tells her instantly. It's kind of cool. If you don't, if your numbers are great, you don't need the insulin, and you don't take, the whatever it is you're supposed to take, because that would be detrimental to your health. That's just common sense. Your doctor would want you to use common sense, but this goes on and on and on that you don't need it. Then you need to see your doctor so he can confirm, we need to take you off that. You don't need it anymore, which we have happen on a regular basis in all things pharmaceutical. If they're a good doctor, okay. In my opinion, if he's not a good doctor, he's going to say, well, you really don't need it, but let's keep you on it just anyway, That to me is.
Yeah, he seems to be pretty good. He's better than the last one I had.
Yeah.
He's all about trying to get off the real pharmaceuticals, and he was just trying to get me in balance, because some of the stuff I was telling him about, he just suggested magnesium, and I'd already
Yeah.
been doing zinc, like I say,
Well,
and so
I do
Lara
want to
said
speak into the
everything.
magnesium for 1 second though. With magnesium, with all the magnesium in the LuminAloe, the best way for your body to actually absorb magnesium is topically, not by a supplement. So depending on, like, from a supplement perspective, not necessarily a medication perspective, if you feel like, I mean, I know Dwayne, Melody, and myself all use a magnesium spray, like for muscle cramps, pain, you name it, that works wonders, but your body can absorb it quicker topically, depending on what that doctor suggested the magnesium for, if that makes
He
sense.
actually did specifically say a specific magnesium bicarbonate, and he had the size and the go on, like, he take this exact one, so he wanted me to do a specific one, so it sounded like he really knew what he wanted to
I
get
mean,
me on it.
magnesium is fantastic, but yeah, depending on what it was that he suggested magnesium for, just know that.
Yeah, we didn't really go into that, so I just was following along with him, and then you were saying magnesium, something. Okay.
Well,
Getting lots of
I'll send
magnesium.
you an image of the oil that we use, because it's fantastic from a magnesium thing. So to lower one less supplement that you're trying to get down.
I'll give you a quick testimonial of something that happened to me in the last 2 weeks. It's a first. For many years, because of my age, I'm a senior citizen. I was injecting testosterone per doctor's orders, 1 injection every 10 days for years. And then LuminAloe came along, and I decided to stop doing the injection into my buttocks. My wife would do it for me. And after about 8 months to a year, I decided to have my testosterone levels checked per my doctor's, working with my doctor. And he called me back a week ago Monday and said that I don't need any testosterone injections. My testosterone is totally normal, which it had not been for years, and not been there for years. The other thing was the doctor before him, which it took me forever to find a good doctor, was working with me to get me off medications. And he said I was the first one to reverse the A1C issue in his practice. And then he retired a few months later. I'm going, great, now I got to find another doctor. Well, it just so happened that the doctor that replaced him was as good or better as he was. And I just found out a week ago he's leaving on the end of this month. So now I gotta go see him just to find out where he's going, so I can see if I can keep in contact with him or whatever. But he was the one I was going to put my picture on the wall, because he reviewed my history. He said he's only had 2 people in his medical history reverse that deviation from normal as well. And he was going to refer people to me, but that looks like that's not going to happen. But anyway, I'm going to try to keep the relationship, so maybe it will. But anyway, the one ingredient that is king as far as I'm concerned, there are several king ingredients though, actually, in LuminAloe, but my second favorite in the whole thing is the Diascorea wild Mexican yam. And that's been proven with thousands and thousands of studies to be a precursor for every hormone of the body, every single hormone of the body. And so back in the day of previous formulations, we didn't have the ingredients that Lara has been talking about tonight. And yet we were getting good results, and because of the Diascorea product. So what we find is with the ingredients, they layer over each other with heart support and blood support and cognition support and all these different things, antioxidant support, big time, free radicals, and so it's like you're putting into your body I've never been in the military, but a big legion of several troops, if you will, that are going against several things that are always, your body's always trying to fight off, but doesn't have the raw materials or the ammo, if you will, to fight it off. And yet now it does. So there's a word for what LuminAloe really is, and it's called a panacea, which means cure-all. And there's 100,000 deviations of normal in the world based on the Google search I did with different names. Most of them, the majority, are in third world countries, and will probably never enter through the door of trying LuminAloe. Who knows? We'll see. But, you know, the other rest of these deviations from normal, there's only about 800 that walked through the door back in 1985, a little over that, and 50 genetic. And this reversed all over 850 genetic disorders. And they actually put out 300 patents on the different deviations of normal by name. You know, they put several on each patent, US patent. And so we're just seeing a repeat of all the things that were listed and some new stuff that should be medically impossible that never walked through the door in the past. And when I say new stuff, I'm talking like 500 to 700 new things easily that were never patented and never walked through the door back then when that was done, when that research was done, those patents were issued. So we're just, you know, as more and more new things walk through the door and try LuminAloe, it's like you've got a 95% chance it's going to solve that problem. So it's no longer a part of your life. Okay. Go ahead, Lara.
No, it's exciting hearing all this, like your testosterone levels and your blood work. That's
Yeah.
really, really exciting.
Yeah.
And and you know, there's so many things that the aloe, which makes up of, Reg said, over 70% of what's in LuminAloe is the aloe. And that is, you know, there's so many studies that support that with other deviations that really play havoc on a lot of men's health, like dementia, like prostate cancer, like Alzheimer's, and so on. So is there any studies that you'd like to?
Oh yeah, I'd love to share. I just, you know, until it's my turn, I'm just taking it low.
Take it away, Reg.
Okay. One more thing, it's new that I've never announced before. And it's just happened in the last few weeks, but it's one of those things the doctor didn't need to diagnose. One of the side effects of, there are several of blood sugar issues, is called gastroparesis, which is paralyzation of your stomach. And when I actually got that as a side effect, and I wasn't eating but one meal a day, and it wasn't a lot, and I'd feel stuffed, and if I overate, I'd throw up. And I lost a lot of weight, and so I finally went to the doctor for fear I might have stomach cancer, quite honestly, or intestinal cancer or something, you know. So I had a camera shoved up one end and another camera shoved down the other end. And then I had, you know, the test done, and they said, no, you're malignant cell free. Okay. However, because of this deviation of normal involving your blood, you have gastroparesis as a side effect. That's why you're not eating. Your stomach is frozen, so it's not moving like it normally does to move your food along. So it just, your food, when you eat it, it just sits there and just sits there and just sits there. So it takes a long time for it to process through your stomach to your intestinal tract. And so that's what I was experiencing. And I was looking forward to the day when that's not an issue. So the side effects of that are normal bowel movements. Most people don't know what normal is if you have 3 meals a day, you should have 3 bowel movements a day, 2 meals a day, 2 bowel movements a day. I would have 1 meal a day and have 1 bowel movement once every 3 or 4 or 5 days. That's not normal, okay? Which is tied to this gastroparesis thing. So I've been taking LuminAloe 2 teaspoons 4 times a day for quite some time. And as of about a week or 2 ago, I now with every meal have a movement. And that's not happened in almost 3 years. So a little over 3 years, actually. So the body takes its time with some things, and good heavens, thankful I didn't quit 2 years ago because it didn't work on the gastroparesis, you know, which some people make, I think, the mistake of doing because it doesn't fit their agenda of what should happen first, second, third, and fourth. The body's in charge. But going to your question, I'm going to share my screen here. One of the biggest killers of men is prostate malignant cell growth. So if you go to the pubmed.gov, okay, that's not the one I had on the screen. Memorize it. This is the one. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I get off this screen, I copied and pasted this right here, and I'll put it in the chat so you can copy it. And but anyway, this is a study using aloe vera with prostate cancer clients or patients, if you will. And when you get right down to the bottom, the conclusion, the aloe vera.
We can't see
Extracts.
anything on this study. It's all black.
Oh, really? Okay, let me try something else here. This is my okay, we'll try this one more time. Share. And this is anti-proliferation. You see that?
Yes.
Okay. So it says are a selective inhibitor of prostate cancer cells and a potent activator of CD82 expression. So using the aloe vera, they were able to slow down the prostate cancer growth. And this was a millifolium species. And we use the Barbadensis Miller species, which is the correct species. I mean, all aloes are good, but there's good, better, best, and we only use the best. And theirs wasn't grown in the equatorial area of the earth, and it wasn't grown on volcanic soil, which ours is. And so we've had published studies with the aloe we use. And I'm going to stop share here, and then I'll hit enter. Well, stop share. Go back to here and see if that works there. So in the chat with that study, okay. Now there's another series of books called Fisher Proceedings for Medical Research, and you cannot get copies of these, they're out of print, but I have every issue. And in 2007, volume 4, number 3, the very bottom one there's like breast cancer, ovarian cancer, gastric cancer, Graves' disease, and thrombocytopenic purpura, whatever that is, and Alzheimer's disease. So we go back to the Alzheimer's disease, and they had several anecdotal stories of people with Alzheimer's getting their cognition back completely, like 100%. Others, they got a better quality of life. And so in this study, they found that this did actually stop the progression of the disease completely, so it wouldn't get any worse. And then depending on how far along you were, how soon it was till you found out about this product, they could start reversing it. Now, and up to this point and to this day, any drug that's ever been studied has never been able to stop the progression of the disease, nor has it been able to reverse it in any way, shape, or manner. And they were just excited that it could stop progression of disease. But then there's one more that was done with, that was just a few Alzheimer's patients. The one I really want to get to, which has some good and sad news, is the money was raised, it was about $200,000 from a grant to do a study. And my father, Dr. McDaniel, was the chief instigator of this study. And they did it in Florida at an Alzheimer's Institute, the largest one in the United States. And so they had 100 patients. They were taking 2 teaspoons twice a day. And then they were evaluated at the end of the year. And what they found was it stopped the progression of the disease on 100% of the patients. And then on 46%, they had improved memory and cognition. Only 23% did not progress. Caregivers reported a 100% benefit for all patients' quality of life, was markedly elevated, were easier to care for, happier, and cooperative. And this powder was the sole test formula. It was published in the Journal of Alzheimer's, which is similar to the Journal of American Medical Association, but for Alzheimer's. It was published in that journal, and the 3-letter agencies read it and censored it immediately. It could not be shown to the public. You do a Google search, you will not be able to find it because it seemed to solve the problem. They did have about 5 patients that got their cognition back and went back home to live a normal life. And one in particular was upset that his kids had sold his home and were living on the money they sold the home for. They didn't expect grandpa to come back as a full cognitive individual. But one of the things that I was asked to look up studies on was like hair growth that the gentleman talked about tonight. And the other one was erectile dysfunction and shrinking of the prostate and prostate cancer. So those are the ones I did all the research on, to name a few. And not surprisingly and sadly, when you raise money to do research, which is very, very expensive, hair loss, no one wants to spend the money on for a study, okay? And erectile dysfunction, not a big deal. Cancer is the big deal, you know, lupus, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, AIDS, COVID, you know, there's 100,000 other diseases, folks, that are a lot more important than hair growth. And so we have, from past years, thousands and thousands of testimonials of all these benefits, like we heard of tonight, of hair growth and erectile dysfunction. The funniest story I have that I don't mind sharing was a gentleman came and bought. Back then, it was a powder of the aloe, capsules, they're actually tablets of the Diascorea, and then capsules that were plastic of 12 wine ripened fruits and vegetables. They all had the aloe. I mean, the aloe powder was 100% aloe powder. So you took the powder, you took the tablet, you took the capsules, and it worked on over 800 deviations of normal. Well, he came in and bought like 90 bottles of the Diascorea tablets, and my dad just happened to be there. And he goes, "Oh, so you're a new distributor getting ready to launch on your business?" He goes, "No, this is all for me." And he goes, "Why are you buying that many?" He says, "Because it put the lead back in my pencil. And I don't know if you guys are going to still be in business 5 years from now." So, hopefully that wasn't untactful, me sharing that, but that's a great story. So in reference to ED, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of testimonials that it has restored erectile dysfunction issues, but there are almost equally as many that it hasn't. Okay, and there might be a missing element that back then. Okay, and here we are with our current and best formulation, and I emphasize better, because when my father was temporarily on the team to help us create LuminAloe, you know, Joe was on the team, our CEO. He came up with 2 or 3 ingredients on his own based on 30 years of experience, and my dad had about 3 that he had never added before. But he said, "I can make it better if you can afford to sell it." And when it was all done, he said, I used to say in Zoom calls, the new and improved formula, because we were all taking the old formula from my father's research lab until LuminAloe was ready. So I would say the new and improved formula, and he would say, "HR is not a new and improved formula. It's better, period. Don't say new and improved. It's not." And so I will never forget that. And we have had now things come through the door that have never happened in the history of all the literally thousands and thousands and even tens of thousands that I've personally heard doing this for 30 years. We're getting testimonials that have never, ever happened. And so he's me to take for myself. And I said, "You want to taste it?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "It tastes better too." So, you know, we definitely improved on. And of course, the one thing we have that no one on the earth has is we put frequencies into the powder of the LuminAloe. So it's frequency activated nutrition, which makes it work better, faster with the frequencies that it holds. And the thing I'll say about frequencies is there are good ones and there are bad ones. And we put only the good ones. And frequency, if you think about it, is simply information. That's what frequency is. It's information, all of it, whether it's from the plants we eat or the supplements we take, or if it's from radiation, it has information, and it will, you know, zoom in on that one cancer cell and destroy it. They try to kill the cancer cell before they kill the patient, you know, but there's a lot of information there, and they have to be careful how they use it. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for that information. So much in 2 teaspoons twice a day.
That's maintenance. Yeah. If you're more messed
What
up,
it's doing for our body.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for all those studies and stories, Reg. We really appreciate it. I also want to see if Dwayne would speak into some of his experiences on LuminAloe so far.
Well, I don't know where to start. I don't know I haven't been on the program here too much lately. I don't know who's new here or how much they've heard. You want me to start from the beginning? Like I'm going on a year now, I guess.
I know. Can you remember
Just share
everything
it
that's
all.
happened?
Well, the first thing that struck me within a matter of a couple of days of taking it, just pure calmness. That's the one that sticks in my mind. Settle down all my anxieties, like I used to be always, in a fit. I noticed that was the first one. Now I'm just trying to remember because I forget so much. But something twigged a memory in me when this fellow said tonight something about pee and pressure and whatnot. And I never thought about it at the time, but when I went on the LuminAloe, I think I mentioned it on past programs, that I was urinating a lot and starting to lose weight. I was losing a lot of fluid. You remember me saying that?
Yeah.
Like I thought it was a part of the detox. And of course, we all went through the detox, a little bit of pimples and headaches for a few days, then it would bypass. But what really interests me over the year, there's always a little subtle reminder of an old injury that I'd forgotten about, and something would act up, like my arm would ache for 2 days, and I thought to myself, geez, I haven't done that for a while. I fell down the chair, wrapped my arm through the back of a chair in the house here and fell down the stairs. Of course, we've been neighbors over partying, and anyway, I fell down the stairs. So I wrenched my arm real bad, and that thing, I favored it for probably a year at least. And then one day I noticed that arm was aching in that spot, and I picked up a 5-gallon pail, and over the last year or two, or over the last years, I always picked up with my left arm, because if I picked up too much of a weight, and I grabbed that pail of oil and whatnot, and I'm walking with it, and then it suddenly hit me. I thought, hey, that was hurting a couple of days ago, and now I'm lifting with it, and I shouldn't be lifting with that. So that's what I mean. It gives you a little subtle reminder in old injuries. Then now the arm is good; it's as strong as the left one. So I found that really exciting. A little bit of hair growth on the top. My hair has gotten a lot darker. The weight loss, that was a bonus. It was very subtle. I thought I was imagining it. Like I say, I was losing a lot of fluid at the time. And that reminds me of thinking about that when he mentioned it tonight. And I thought, well, maybe I'm just losing fluid, I'm dehydrated or whatever. And I would notice I weighed in when I started 167.8 pounds. Then I would drop a couple of pounds in a week, and then it would go up to the same thing. And I thought, am I imagining this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then I started to lose a little bit of weight. So I start weighing in, and then I'd go from a couple of pounds a month, I guess, is what I averaged. But it would fool you. Sometimes you drop 5 pounds and you think, what's going on? And then the next day you're up and you think, oh, it must have been just fluid or whatever. But gradually, what I noticed, but I kept tightening my belt, and then all my clothes got loose. And I'm still wearing the same belt here. I used to have it on 2 notches. Now I just wear it on, I'm 3 inches smaller on my waist over a year. And I don't exercise or do nothing. I didn't do nothing. What I noticed in the first month or so, I heard Reg say about, he had a truck driver go out and he put it in his water, and he drank it in his water. And he lost about 40 pounds. So I was thinking about this, and what Reg said was he goes in for a cup of coffee and he always buys a donut or whatever. And I remember him saying that on the program. And then I found myself doing the same thing. I'd go in for a cup of coffee, and I'd grab a sandwich or something, and I thought, well, geez, I don't really need that. And I found myself for a good month eating virtually nothing. I didn't need nothing to eat. I'd come home and I just wasn't hungry. Now, after that went on for about a month, closer to 2 months. Then all of a sudden I got my appetite back. Now I can eat anything I want. I sleep good at night. I can eat just about anything I want. and I'm still not gaining any weight back. Well, I shouldn't say any weight. I'm up and down a little bit. But right now, I think I'm at about 150 pounds, down from 100 and I think it was 167.8 I started at. And I haven't done nothing to lose that weight. Now, I have been as low as 148. I went into the 148, and I haven't been like that since high school. And I'm thinking, and I'm not exercising. Now, the other thing was a year ago or so, I guess it was last summer. Well, it had to be last summer. That's when I started, the end of July. I was having trouble. I didn't know if it was arthritis or what was going on. I couldn't walk out to the end of the driveway to put the garbage out without having to stop and rest. I just ached all over. And the more I walked, my friends would say, one guy was bugging me, come on, go walking. You don't walk enough. You're in that truck all the time. I said, Paul, I can't walk. I said, I can only go about half of the driveway and I got to stop and rest. I'm just aching all over and it hurts so bad, it's hard to walk. Then it got so bad that I went out to mow the lawn one day and I couldn't mow the lawn. I thought, Jesus, I don't know what's going on with me here. I had to get my son to mow the lawn. Now, over time, now I'm up jumping around again. That pain is all gone. It's, I'm not touching my toes or nothing, but, and I can still walk. I've been down at a couple of these. I can't go marching in any protests or anything, but I can go quite a distance now. I can go walking and yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. What else has happened lately? The darker hair. Uh,
Your dreams, your dreams
oh,
have
the
been,
dreams. Yeah, I asked everybody because I didn't want to say too much about that, but I kept asking whether anybody else was experiencing an increase in dreams. And I find I'm having a lot of dreams now, and more I could remember them. But I don't know why. Just whatever. Oh, I was going to say about going back to the weight loss thing. It's almost as if it's reset my what's the word for it?
Metabolism.
Metabolism. That's what it is. I can eat anything now. Don't have to exercise, but I'm not. I'm still maintaining the same weight and just floating all over. And now I've got my appetite back. I'll eat 2 or 3 times a day or 6 times a day. It's still digested. Everything's regular, but I've always been regular anyway. So no real problems other than about 2 months ago. 2 months ago, I started to have problems. That's kind of why I was avoiding the shop. The like you, Reg, I was a little worried about something. And it got so bad, I don't know whether I got an infection in the back of my neck or what happened. I was trying to think back what I had done. I was working around a welder, and I think a spark got down my neck. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm thinking back 2 months because I let this go on for 2 months. Then I was thinking I had my last haircut, which I still haven't gone back again. So yeah, it's been about 2 months that I'm about due for a trim again. And I was trying, this thing come out of nowhere. Now, as I was driving, the infection spread across the back of my neck. And I had a lump on the back of my neck. I was scratching. I thought it was a pimple or something. So I didn't show anybody this thing. I just tried to squeeze and I thought, oh, it hasn't built a head yet. I've got a pimple. The only other thing I can think of at this same time when that spark hit my head, that's when I had my last haircut. And I remember the hairdresser dropping her scissors on the ground. And she picked them up. And when you do that, you always throw them in that blue solution to sterilize your scissors. And I know this for a fact. And anyway, she didn't do that. I thought, geez, were her scissors pick up something off the floor and infect my head? Anyway, I could show you a picture of this thing that grew in my head, but I don't know how to do it. And that thing swole up. It got so bad that I couldn't stand it. So I was thinking about it a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't sleep at night. Wake me up in the middle of the night. Couldn't get comfortable. Couldn't lay on it. That's how big it got so fast. And I thought, I've got to do something about this. Well, that weekend, it was on a Friday. I thought, can't put this off any longer. So I decided I would go to the doctor on Monday. I'm the worst one for going to a doctor, but I thought I got to do something here. So I went down to the clinic. I couldn't get in there. So I said, well, I got to have somebody look at this because it's driving me crazy. I'm in serious pain. And I thought I've had blood poisoning before. And I thought maybe that's what it was, a blood poisoning because it spreads. So I went into the emergency and the guy looked at me as if I was crazy. He says, oh, he says, it's a cyst. You can cut it off or whatever. And I said, yeah, but I said, this thing come out of no place in like last 2 months. Look at the size of it. And he says, well, he says, I wouldn't worry about it. He says, just a cyst. He was annoyed at me that I went to emergency. No, I guess he doesn't realize I never ever go to a doctor. I haven't been to a doctor in years, other than for checkups. I never get sick. What happened? Where did everybody go? I can't see anybody on my phone all of a sudden. Are we still
We're still
on?
here.
We're still here.
Oh, there I go. Okay. So I came home after that doctor and I thought to myself, so I took Advil for a week. I thought, well, I'll get the inflammation down because I told him it felt like an infection. So I went on Advil for 1 week. As long as I took an Advil, they lasted me for 4 hours. Then the pain would come back. So I was taking one every 4 hours for a week. And I went into the weekend and I thought, I'm going to have to do something with this weekend. So I finally, oh, pardon me, before I went to the doctor, I finally showed my wife what was going on.
Oh, it goes on and on and on.
She just, sorry, this is so long story. Do you want me to leave it? Or? Anyway, the wife looks at it, she freaks out. My God, what have you done to yourself? What's going on? And I was worried too. I really didn't want to show her. So I was thinking the worst too. So then I got talking with Melody. I was trying iodine on it and magnesium chloride, just odds and ends little cures. And then I decided I would put the hot cloth on it, put heat to it. So I started soaking it over the weekend and it finally softened up. It started to leak off and it's just about completely gone now. I'm still leaking off, but it's completely flat in my head pretty much now. So I'm pretty happy about that. Now it's got to grow new skin there and it's still leaking off, whatever. But like I said, it came out of nowhere.
Mhm.
So I don't know what's going on there. So like I say, I took some the hot cloth and then I stuck some LuminAloe on it. Now it's like I say, it's leaking off. So
All I have to say is that
And the
doctor
pa-
was an idiot.
and the pain is all gone. So I don't have to take Advil anymore. What did you say there? I missed that.
I said the doctor that you saw in Emerge was an idiot.
Well, that's what I thought.
Why?
There's some good ones, there's some bad ones, but I don't know. I very seldom see a doctor. I'm supposed to have your own doctor. I haven't seen her in 20 years or 30 years maybe.
So Dwayne, I just want to ask, did you say you put LuminAloe on it on the end? Did you
Yes,
put some after?
yes.
And so it's healed right back up now?
It's not completely healed. I'd show you tonight, but still leaking a little bit, but it's almost flattened out already.
Oh, that's
It's only
excellent.
been a week since it's flattened out. But I'll show
So-
you the. I'll
So
show
one
you
of
an
the
apple.
things I'd like you to watch for, because we're hearing this consistently now, is, and we're going to go to Tiff right away and ask her real quick to share her husband's story, but it's the scarring and the wounding that it's just not leaving scars anymore. It's not. So anyway, let us know if it just heals right flat and normal again.
Well, I showed you my
And
head.
Dwayne, can you just real quick lean in like this with your head? I want to see your hair. Jim, we'd like you to do that too, unless you're in motion.
No, I'm in the car. It was pretty dark.
I don't know. am
So
I too
wait,
close?
go slow, Dwayne. For those of you who've seen Dwayne's hair on our examples of our testimonials, Dwayne, I need a new top of your head picture. You actually, Dwayne's hair used to be not here, from here to here. It was just barely there. And now he's got hair. Way to go.
Okay, Dwayne, you can sit down.
Thank
Is it
you.
still all- Is it still
Tiff,
all
tell-
white hair up there?
It's
Is there
all
any
good.
white hairs?
No, wait, we can't see. Tiff, tell us a little bit. We have a few minutes, just real quick. Tell us a little bit about what's gone on and the healing with Dawn.
Okay, my husband is 87 next month and he fell about a week and a half ago and he had a major goose egg. It scraped his nose, scraped his face, cut his chin, had a puncture in his chest. And since then, it was about 6 days after it happened, this scar, the scab came off and I can't find where the scar is. And the one on his chest is now fallen off. And if it wasn't a little bit pink, I wouldn't be able to find it either. And he's 80, going to be 87. So we think that's pretty phenomenal.
That's like truly amazing healing happening at that age. That's wild.
Yeah,
That's
and his
awesome.
other bruises are starting to disappear pretty good and around his eye, but it's coming. I was just shocked and surprised about, the two scabs because they were nasty looking. So, yeah.
Right on. That's awesome. Jim, did you say you could lean in or not? I can't tell.
Well, I could lean. I'll try turning the car light on. I'm sitting in the driver's seat here in a parking lot. So I don't know how well it is.
Just lean down to your phone like this.
Yeah, let's try that. I don't know how much.
No,
you're
we
gonna be able to
probably
see.
won't be able to see. No, we can't see. All we're
No,
getting is the
probably not.
light glow.
Or it's too shiny. But
All right.
there
We're
is
gonna have
some
to
growth
take
there.
we're gonna have to take pictures next time you see or we
Sure.
see you. So
For sure.
anyway, wow, so much information. Thank you, Lara. Thank you, Reg. That was an incredible share. And Dwayne and Jim and Tiff and everyone who shared with us. It's just been such a journey. I'm at 11 and a half months. So I'm starting to really see the difference. I was doing a fair this weekend and somebody actually 3 women walked up, but this one in particular walked up. It was just, you are absolutely glowing. I need to know what you're taking. I want to know what this stuff is. So,
You look like you're ready for the prom.
okay, I'll take it.
I was my mic on yet, Melody?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, the one advantage of not attending all these meetings, when I don't see you guys every week, it's a big change to see as everybody's looking really healthy and much better,
know.
I think.
I
It's
actually have a
amazing.
picture of Jim's head, if I
It's when-
if I can
It's
share.
when I don't see
Read
you
that.
every day or every week, then you see somebody, it's like, holy geez.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Good,
Every now and then I go back to some of our very first video videos on YouTube. Just y'all should go back to that. If you haven't seen any of the old original videos, go back and take a look at yourselves. For those of you who have been on this for a while now, it's absolutely amazing. It just 2-3 months in and man, everybody just looks different. So
I'm going to share a picture of Jim's head. 1 second.
okay, go.
Just let me find it. Oh, it was open. Oop. See if this works.
Can everybody hear Max snoring in the background? Oh, there we go.
Look at all that hair growth.
Wow.
Check it out.
Was that at the show?
Yeah.
That was the one at the show, right?
Yeah. So I
So that's
imagine you.
that's been almost 2 months. That was 2 months ago.
That's right.
So I imagine you've had to trim it. So
I have actually had to, because some of the hairs, because of course your hair doesn't grow the same length. Right? So look, yes. And so some of them are standing straight up and some of them are falling over and some of them are short. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I have to trim this. So I
getting
trimmed it a
that
couple of
duckling
times.
look.
Yes. So I'm trying to still look respectable while I'm out here, but yeah, it is interesting to see, some hair growing like 2.5 inches long on the top of my head. I'm like, really? What's going on here? So it was very interesting.
So funny. That's
How long
awesome.
have you been on it, Jim, now?
Just started our 3rd tub this week.
So 2
really
months.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah,
Okay.
8, 9 weeks, somewhere in there.
But you had hair growth in the first week. Like that
Yes,
was 5
it was
days in that
noticeable.
picture we just showed. 5 days
That's
in?
right.
Yeah.
I didn't even take any pictures at the first because I had no idea what everybody was saying. Like the thing on my arm, even
Mhm.
it had shrunk so much in the first week. It was mind blowing. I never even thought to take a picture of it, because if I had an original picture of it, you would go, oh my God, like
Yeah.
literally it's almost gone now. I can't believe it. I used
Well,
to pick
Vivian
this
is the same. Her husband had a cyst on his arm for years. And just like that, it was gone. No pictures, because who thought?
Well, you're not thinking about that, right? It's like
Yeah.
all the other crap.
You don't
And all of a
expect
sudden
that.
this thing on your arm disappears. It's like really weird.
What happened to my little friend?
No, we always say to people, take your pictures, weigh yourself, do all the things, because you're going to be really, really surprised at what happens and how quickly it happens. So
Yeah.
anyway, thank you all for being here. It's been another full evening of so much fun and so much interest. And Lara, thank you for bringing a very sensitive subject to some, for some anyway, but thank you for bringing it and speaking into it so clearly. And thank Joe for the tamarind. It gives us great hope for the future, literally.
Well,
All
I
right,
have-
y'all. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Monday. We're going to be talking, Reg and I are going to be talking about the Curie and some new updates that we have to share as well. So feel free to join into any of the corporate calls this weekend if you do, or this week if you don't have the emails, because I don't know who's getting emails and who's not from corporate at this stage of the game. Just send us a message and we'll get you the details if you need it. All right, because there's calls Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. All right. So with that, unless anybody has any questions or thoughts, we are on our way. Have a great night, sweet dreams, and all that good stuff. And we'll
Have a
see you
good
in a
night.
week. Bye for now.
you.
Good night.